epic event. Now, let the party begin.
Your healthy radio addiction starts now.
Hollywood's Motorcycle Madhouse on iHeartRadio.
And welcome everyone to the show. And first is first, if you see Jack Frost, go kidnap his ass, kick him in the balls, because he just cost me my weed dispensary for tomorrow, because everything around here in Illinois is closed. You got the malls closed. You got everything closed. It is minus 60 degrees here in Illinois. All-time freaking record for coldness here. So do me a favor, find that son of a bitch and kick him in the balls. I would much appreciate that. Killing my weed time. Unbelievable. But anyway, to be I got thrown off there. But to be quite frank, it is cold out here in Illinois. Hopefully everybody's staying warm out there. Got a good show for you today. Figured we'd tackle a topic from a biker's perspective, and that is quote-unquote fake news media, as well as some other subjects. I want to say hi to everybody in the room right now. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, Ant? How you doing, Mr. Perfect? Richard, Southern Belle, Ironhead, and everybody else out there. But first up, you know what? This is what's happened in Illinois. Besides the deep freeze, and by the way, tomorrow's show we won't be having. We'll be back on Thursday. I'll throw up a video or something like that. But with the minus 60 degrees, there's some problems going on right now with not only the internet, but with a lot of the equipment. Shit, I tried to pay a bill with a Visa today, and that thing didn't even go through. So it is cold out there. But first is first, Springfield, Illinois. Now, Illinois, we already know, I call it behind enemy lines and stuff like that, but they have lost their minds, okay? Now, they want to follow the New York Democrats by, wait till you hear this. Illinois lawmakers have introduced a bill that would require Illinois State Police to search a person's social media account before allowing them to legally purchase guns. It's called HBO 888, and if it passes, anyone applying for a FOID card, which is a firearms owner identification card you got to get here in Illinois, would need to turn over a list of every single social media account they use to police. Police would use that information to determine any possible reasons to disqualify the person from getting a void card. Uh-oh, I'm shit out of luck there, man, being the most hated Leo station out there. They check all my social media, man. I'm screwed. Anyway, the bill was sponsored by a Democrat out of the 59th District, Daniel Dijic, never heard of him, and Jonathan Carroll. And this goes to a bigger problem right now, and this ain't just a Democrat-Republican problem. This is an American problem, a real serious one. Now, for those who actually sit back and look at what's going on in this country right now, it's some scary stuff. It really is. Both sides of the freaking aisle are scary. On one side, you got too far left. On the other, you got too far right. But the problem comes in with the media. Now, the media is protected under the First Amendment. Now, let's hear what the First Amendment says. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Right now in the biker community, we got two things going on with the First Amendment. First thing is the Mongols case out in California, which, by the way, goes to the third phase, February 28th. Now, in that case, we have a big First Amendment breach. You just take it on front face right here. It does not say RICO entitles the government to take away your right to association, to assemble, or any of that type of stuff. It don't do that. So this is a big waste of taxpayers' money, if you ask me. But I'm just a radio show, so my opinion really don't damn matter to these people. But that's the first thing. Now, freedom of the press. And that is something that is getting real scary right now. Real freaking scary. Okay? They are actually becoming a propaganda machine of a political party. And it's blatant. It's right there in your face what they're doing. And what's even scarier is people are too stupid to see it. Okay? Now, given it from a biker's perspective, and bikers, we can see through the bullshit, and we call a pot of kettle black, whatever the fuck it is. But anyway, we're going to call you out when we see it. And take this, for example, the other day. Now, Roger Stone, okay, whatever the hell's going on with Trump, this Russia crap, which that in itself is a big propaganda game, because anybody who's old enough to remember knows that this has been a back and forth between the U.S. and Russia, then Soviet Union, of getting in each other's business. That's just the way it's been. That's what the Cold War was about. And all of a sudden, the leftist Democrats, now they care about Russia. They never gave a damn about Russia or the Soviet Union for most of their existence during the Cold War. No, they mostly fell on top of their dicks to try to appease the Soviet Union. Read your history. This ain't politics from me. It's just the bare truth. They've done nothing but try to suck pole with the Russians forever and ever. And what's funny is that most of this fake investigation, it goes back to Democrats. Now, everybody's to say, well, you're biased towards... I used to be a blue dog conservative Democrat. That's what I used to be. Okay? When Democrats were actually for the middle class, were for workers... That was the party, was the Blue Dog Democrats. Now it's not that way anymore. It is no longer the party of Kennedy. It's no longer the party of FDR. It's the party of Lenin. Okay? That's who the Democrats are. They're the party of Lenin. You can go to Seattle right now, and in their square, they got a damn statue of Lenin in their square. Could you believe this? Okay? I don't know if you youngins wouldn't know, but your older ones would, how bad the Cold War was for everybody who had to live through it, who had to grow up in it. It was terrible. You did not know when the next missile was going to fly into your house because the tensions were extreme. Half of Europe, now go pick up an 80s map or look it up on Google. Half of Europe, half of it was red. Okay? It was red. That was all Soviet Union. That was socialism and communism at its best. Now, a poll was taken that 40% of millennials, young ones, believe in socialism. Are you freaking kidding me? Okay? They believe in that stuff. But anyway, you want to know why they believe in it? It's because of the media and schools. That's who's teaching them. That's what's up. They're putting all this shit in their heads. Okay? Well, the government's good for you. The government's supposed to do this, and this for you. Well, our original founders, if you actually read the Bill of Rights, the government was supposed to be out of it. It was supposed to be about state rights. Okay, that's one of the reasons why the Civil War happened, because the government went in. Now, the Civil War bring back all kinds of debate and stuff like that. But one of the reasons was state rights. And, the only reason why the Constitution was signed, and then you didn't read the Federalist Papers, the debates that went back and forth between Madison and Jefferson and all that type of stuff. And one of the big things was not only the First Amendment, But the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms and stuff like that, there was a huge debate on that. And during time, you have all these activists out there trying to change the wording, or more importantly, what they're doing is they're going through the court. Now, they know they cannot win at the ballot box with their ideals, okay? That's why you have them out there. And you know what? There used to be a media that cared about this country, that gave a shit about this country. But you know what? I think the last real journalist was Walter Cronkite. Okay, that's in a time when they actually believed in what this country was doing. Now you got people that are running this country or running these big news organizations, and it comes from the 60s generations. Why? We had our soldiers over there fighting in Vietnam. You had these hippies. You had these freaking, and no offense to hippies, I love the drugs, but you had these Clintons, and you had all them running around with their signs, spitting on our soldiers, and trying to change the way this country's foundation was. You know, they wanted to move it from the way we were to socialism. That's been their game the whole time since the 60s. The whole time. And now you got these media conglomerates freaking, it's bad, the propaganda. It really is. Now, let's take a quick look at a video. And this is from a biker's perspective now on what happened with those kids with the Make America Great Again hats, which incidentally came out. The dude was a liar. He said he served in Vietnam, never served in Vietnam. You know, it was stolen valor on his part. But the media will not tell you everything and won't show you the whole video. Now, if you go on Crowder, because I really like Crowder, but if you go on his station, it shows you the whole video. And yeah, you just see how BS that whole thing, that media propaganda really was. But let's take a look at this video real quick.
Young guy was accosted for wearing a hat. Sadly, the media's proliferating that whole thing. Nothing would have happened if he wasn't wearing that hat.
So you're saying it was a political agenda where the media covered it that way?
I'm a firm believer.
Fake news.
I'm a firm believer that the biggest enemy of the country is our media. It's not the biggest enemy, it is the loudest part of the enemy is our media.
And he's right. It is the loudest part of what's going on in this country right now. It is total BS. Now, the Loners MC, they had to put out a response to an article that actually was published on the Cornwall Standard Freeholder. Now, you got to give them... Now, the Loners are a Canadian type of club. Yeah, they're worldwide. I don't know how good they are here in the United States because there's a different type of Loners groups and stuff like that. But they had to put a response out to an article which I think was brilliant. Clubs need to start stepping up and putting out their side. They got to get a public relations officer to stop some of the spread of what the media is doing. Because like we talked about yesterday with the motorcycle profiling, the media can hurt you in a case because they're getting to the civilians. They're getting to the civilians who vote. And they're also getting to the civilians that judge your ass on a jury. So it is real important, no matter what the old code was, that a motorcycle club get in front of stories and get their side out to the country or in front of an audience. Now, here is their response from the Loners MC to that article. And this actually came from, let me get his name here. The president, Nomad Chapter Magoo. So this is who wrote this article in response to the one they hit. Because there is no more fake news than there is when it comes to motorcycle clubs. Let me tell you, it's all about selling papers and all that jive. But here we go. We are responding to an article concerns over possible outlaw motorcycle club in Cornwall's La Village, published January 25th, 2019 in the Cornwall Standard Freeholder. The article is also being shared among many of the motorcycle sites and club sites throughout Facebook and the internet. Yes, you can see it on Insane Throttle Biker News, the original article. This response will be in writing tomorrow on Insane Throttle, so you can look at the article and all that good stuff. Our response to the article will also be shared word for word, not only locally, but most likely worldwide, which it is right now. The article is meant really to judge us, but in reality, the audience will also judge you and the integrity of your paper. Now, that is very important to put out there. Now, the quality of the reporting. I believe on the Insane Throttle Biker News side, you have to get both stories. Then you let the audience decide. Yeah, you're going to have opinion articles. I do them all the time over on Insane Throttle. But those are my opinions. It's an opinion editorial is what it's called. It's not news or any of that. It's editorial backed up with facts that I might find out there. So remember, there's a difference between journalism and editorial articles, okay? Anyway, we haven't commented on the article as of yet, but many are already viewing the article as a conspiracy with the local PD to gather club intelligence to scare the community into believing there is a security risk. Now, don't that sound familiar? Yesterday, with the convention, everybody started to arrive, and all of a sudden, Las Vegas PD started circulating that memo, and next thing you know, everybody's kicked out of the motel. The contract for the organization, because they were there for an anti-profiling conference, is canceled. So it sounds familiar. That's a police tactic right there. And also, before I go on, you can see this on Insane Throttle, where I talk about in Washington, there's an anti-profiling bill in front of the representatives. And of course, you got all the police unions out there. Oh, we're against this. We're against it. Of course you're against it, because you're going to be held accountable, you freaking pricks. Anyway, this is seen as an attempt to increase the police budget by robbing the municipal coffers for an imaginary biker issue. You would think, not only in Canada, but the United States, you'd be out there looking for a Beeb or something, towelhead, terrorist people that want to blow this country up instead of messing with bikers. But hey, it don't work that way. It don't matter that bikers are some of the most patriotic people this country has. Anyway, you may believe that they are reporting the facts, but it appears that their sources have been biased. Again, sources have been biased. And that is funny, because their sources, it's probably somebody out bad or somebody out in disgrace, somebody that has a bone to pick, and they're more than willing to walk to that damn journalist and say, hey, I got this and that. I was a club member for maybe a month or two, so I'm a professional and can speak on it. That's their sources that they get. Personally, I would hope the audience doesn't judge either way until they have all the facts. Now, this is the Loners side. The Loners Motorcycle Club honors and respects our club founders for maintaining our old school values and love for motorcycling since 1978. Their integrity and loyalty to the club, its members, and the respect that they have shown throughout the motorcycle world has enabled us to build a brotherhood like no other worldwide, not just in Cornwall. The history of the club can be found online with a simple Google search. The extent of the information is minimal for a reason. In the history of the club, we have never been deemed or labeled an outlaw MC, nor have we been found to be involved in organized crime, charged with the same, or have charges pending. Notice what he just said. They have never been charged with a crime or have any pending crimes regarding freaking organized crime. Our members are employed. We have a cabinet maker, bricklayers, cement foremen, bouncers, and security staff, car mechanics, bike mechanics, truck drivers, plant workers, salespeople, store owners, business owners, and the list goes on. Some of our members are also athletes and are involved in boxing, martial arts, bodybuilding, and at the competitive level, and are non-drinkers and smokers. Many have post-secondary education. So basically, what he's telling everybody is, guess what? We're regular Joes, just like anybody blue-collar worker out there. And that's what motorcycle clubs are made of, is blue-collar workers. You know, this gangster crap, this gangster shit that the media comes up with is what they see, you know, one or two people out there. Oh, you got busted with this or that. Oh, you're a member of this club, so it's going to sell newspapers. That's what it is with these people. But anyway, let's keep on going. To become a full patch member and finish the probate period, it takes a minimum of 2 years, but can take much longer. All members must be well versed in and must defend the Canadian Constitution and its Charter of Rights and Freedoms. All members must also strictly adhere to the Loner's MC Constitution. Nowhere in our Constitution, quote, nowhere in our Constitution does it allow or support the use of narcotics or the sale of the same. The lifestyle of a 1% MC is much stricter than you can imagine, and it's not for everyone. It's well known in our world that it's harder to keep your patch than it is to get it. On the first line of your article, you suggest that we are an outlaw motorcycle club. That's incorrect. You stated that we open quietly, implying that we intentionally wanted to stay under the radar. That's incorrect. We rented a space just like any other tenant. We have been here for over a year. The picture of your article is from the police file. We can date that picture back to last summer. We know this because the owner of that bike was a member and released from the club for not following our Constitution. That was last summer. But we are here in the later part of January. Now that reminds me of the Lemira incident with this Dodge County sheriff. The outlaws were there for a whole year. Did nothing wrong. No complaints. Community loved them. Next thing you know, one day, they're converging on the freaking clubhouse. They're scaring away everybody. They're profiling the shit out of everybody. They were there a year with no problems. A year. Anyway, the information they reported regarding 1% motorcycle clubs was supplied to the Cornwall Standard Freeholder by the Cornwall Police. And they looked no further than to find the truth. They didn't want to even try to find the truth. The truth is far less weaker than a tainted brush. Any information they need about 1% biker culture can be found online, including the history of the 1% lifestyle. The description of what a 1%er depends on the author writing it. However, AMA has a description, Wikipedia has a description, and even Honda used this for advertising in the 50s. There is more old school information on this topic that is hard to get through it all the time. All the research material is available. Basically, it's telling them, hey, you didn't do your research. All you did was take the cops' freaking word for it and just printed it. Not getting both sides so the audience can, distinguish between what's going on. No, you just printed their side, which is always the case when it comes to motorcycle clubs and the police department. The police department freaking puts out what they got, and the damn newspaper prints that and don't get the side. So I'm really happy that the loners are putting this statement out. It's only the policing agencies that have changed the 1% true meaning definition to fit their needs. Amen. Exactly. Hit the nail on the head right there. Holy cow. To the policing community, 1%er means dollars. At the end of your research, you truly will not understand. There really is only one way to know. If I attempted to explain, you wouldn't understand. The policing community also has interpreted what they believe to be a 1% culture. It used it as propaganda to achieve millions of dollars a year in funding. And that's some big truths right there. Without crime, cops don't have nothing. Now, the first thing during a RICO case is they will go after an asset forfeiture. First thing they do is go after that money so you can't get a lawyer to fight them back. That's your government. Now, I don't know how it is in Canada, but that's how it is here in the USA. However, the description they give to explain what a 1%er club is, they themselves would fall under the same label. You got to give them a hand for that. That was a good one. The Cornwall police follow the same agenda as other forces. What they are attempting to say to the public is all 1%er motorcycle club members are criminals. They wear a patch and clothing similar to a uniform. They wear a 1% symbol, much like a badge. They are intimidating to the public. Yeah, they're scary big bikers to the public. They like to refer to us as a gang. We as club members believe many police agencies fall under the same description as they give for 1%er clubs. 1%er clubs now refer to policing agency as police gangs. You guys are, you guys are blue gangs, okay? Anyway, simply go online and Google police officer charge. Go by county from Kingston to Cornwall. Start with Leeds and Greenville County. Once you're done with that, and after doing the same with the Loners MC, let me know who best matches the description of a gang. Ho! That was a hard hit. And he's right, because if you go right now, just put in biker news, or put in biker gang, or put in motorcycle club and hit the news thing on Google, you'll see stuff come up and you'll see the dates of the articles. Now, do the same thing with the cops, and you'll see how many come up. They're worse than any 1%er I know. And you usually see a lot of them have to do with child sex crimes. Anyway, so read this article. It's going to be on tomorrow on Insane Throttle Biker News. You'll be able to see their full response. I'm not going to keep going through it because it's a lot in there. But I like how they hit them. Now that is fake news right there, what they came out with. They put them up to task. They showed them what's up. That's what we need to start doing as a country. We got to start, and by the way, if you guys want to call in, go ahead and call in real quick. I'm going to keep the lines open while I'm going to blab on in a couple more minutes. But remember, tomorrow, before I go on, tomorrow we're going to be off here because of the weather. It's going to be minus 60 degrees. So I'll put a video or something on and we'll be back on Thursday. But anyway, if you do not start taking these people to task and stop being a damn zombie, nothing's going to get better in this country, because the First Amendment was put there not only for, the right to free association, but freedom of the press. It was freedom of the press that is supposed to hold our government accountable. You cannot have the press in bed with the damn government or a particular party. You just cannot have that. I do not care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. That is freaking dangerous. You know what? The last time that happened was 1930s. And that son of a bitch Hitler came to power and took over. The biggest things that the Nazis did to get as strong as they did during World War II, it wasn't just the military. It was the propaganda. It was the state media that made the Nazis strong. It was the state media that put out that all Jews were bad, it's time to get rid of them, all that jive. It wasn't the damn Nazi party. It was the media. Because people were, a lot of people, if you read after the war ended, they had a lot of regrets. One of them being is they wish they never listened to the media. They never listened to the propaganda. And you're on air.
Hey, Hollywood, man. When was the fucking last time the press actually told the truth? I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather telling me, don't believe everything you see on the news. I mean, they've been mind fucking us for a long fucking time. I mean, Jesus Christ, especially when it came to the Vietnam vets and all the bullshit these communist pieces of shit are flooding us with. I mean, honestly, when was the fucking last time the press told the fucking truth? I think it's just nothing but fucking lies.
Well, it's nothing but lies, but it's dangerous that the American citizenry, this ain't just a biker issue here. This is about the American citizen. You can't even get a civics class, but what we're allowing these schools to teach our kids right now is what's allowing this propaganda of the media to work. It's a two-pronged approach. Get the kids young, and then when they get into college or they get into whatever the hell they're doing as a young adult, then let's hit them with what the government can do for you. And
man, they're brainwashing them when they're kids, man. They're not even saying the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. I remember going to school every fucking morning. The first thing we did in the first class was say the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know if you guys can remember that. I'm 51. I think anybody who's my age can remember those days.
Right, exactly. Well, it just came out today that the Democrats kicked off what is it? I swear to God, or whatever that last part of the oath is when you swear in. They're kicking that off now.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me.
Right. And, you know, this ain't just a CNN, MSNBC. It's Fox News, too. It's all the media. It's either your left or your right. Where is the center? Where is the facts of the article where the people can decide? I don't want editorials for my journalism. I want to know the facts so I can make my own choice. And what's scary is people actually believe the propaganda depending on which side you're on.
You know, they really fucking do. And I'll tell you what, you know, when they called it the idiot box, they weren't fucking lying, dude. And I swear to God, the older I get, I really realize that. Jesus Christ, because that fucking idiot box is still, if you're gullible, and you believe everything you fucking see, and there's a lot of fucking boneheads out there who believe every fucking single thing they see in the fucking news. That's why it's called the idiot box. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but man,
exactly. And what I think is the scariest notion is I got grandkids. What's our country going to be like in 20 years if this keeps on happening? Again, we got an extreme right and we got an extreme left. We got nothing down the middle.
Did you hear that they might not even have a fucking Social Security by the time our children or your grandchildren get to the state because they're bleeding us fucking dry with all this welfare and the immigration? Can you believe that, dude?
Well, you know what? It's not only, with Social Security, what I believe it is, you got to take care of your people because we pay into that system. But
absolutely
18 million, 95 million over to freaking Egypt or Saudi Arabia. What the hell's are we Americans or what? It's supposed to be our money, supposed to make our country good. I do not care about who's over in Egypt sitting in a gutter. I'm worried about our people. Like right now, it's going to be minus 60 degrees tomorrow. Minus 60 degrees here in Chicago. And we got homeless people sleeping on the damn streets while you got illegal immigrants in the warming centers. What the hell is that?
It's fucking ass backwards, dude. Our fucking country, somebody's in there, and I don't think it's any of these fucking puppets that are, these guys are the fake people. It's somebody behind the scenes that's causing this fucking show to happen, and I can't really say it's like a black government, but it's a secret government, and I don't want to get all fucking I spy bullshit, but something's going on, dude, and it's been going on for quite some time. They're trying to disinform us. They're trying to turn our children into un-American. They're literally trying to destroy the United States of America and everything we stand for. And if we just find those motherfuckers. God.
Well, here's the thing with that, Dan. We're all upset and stuff like that. This is a radio show. A lot of other people are upset. But here's the problem. People get upset about it, but they do nothing about it. they'll bitch, they'll cry, they'll whine, and do nothing about it. Just like, okay, for example, we put out there yesterday on the Madhouse how this conference, this anti-profiling conference, was shut down by the Las Vegas Police Department. Now I asked myself, well, how many people actually got online to leave a bad review for this casino, or how many people left the bad review on the Las Vegas, which only takes 5 minutes, but how many people actually cared enough to do something about it? And I think that...
I tried to fucking call, and I couldn't even get through.
Right. Well, I'm talking about, how does that relate to what we're talking about now? Well, people got to get up and do something. They got to say enough's enough. And the Democrat and the Republicans are a bunch of jagoffs. Okay? They're owned by corporations. And the corporations are the ones running this country right now. And I do believe, with Trump, now, for or against him, the guy has caused a lot of hell in Washington, and you got to ask yourself why. The reason why he's caused so many problems in Washington is they can't control him. The billionaires, the corporations, they cannot control him.
Yeah, it's because he's got his own fucking money.
Well, yeah, he didn't have to buy his way into he didn't have to have them give him the money to get in the office and then be beholden to somebody. But then you got to look at this when, we got the illegal immigration issue, okay? 3 weeks, he's going to go back and say, fuck this, close the government personally. Shut it all down. If you think I got any freaking sympathy for federal workers, you're crazy. You guys got the best benefits. You got the best money. That's your problem. Pay our military, pay our Coast Guard, everybody else, screw yourselves. Deal with it.
Wasn't the federal fucking government supposed to be dissolved after World War II? Didn't they only fucking bring that along so they could help fucking build the war machine so we could go over there and fucking conquer and, destroy? I mean, wasn't that what it was? All the federal government was about was just we created a monster by allowing it to linger.
Well, what we did was you have people who bought into the government is supposed to do for me and supposed to give to me. That's what happened, and what they did was turn people into sheep. And now it's, okay, you get this public aid or you get this food stamps. It used to be not like that. You had to go to work, you had to, make a living for yourself. You weren't reliant on the government. Now, the biggest platform for the left is, let's put everybody on Medicare. Okay, well, you know what? I actually believe, this is me personally, believe this country should provide everybody health insurance. Because you know what? I'd rather have our people get the health insurance than $90 million going over to Egypt. Take care of our people first. Man. But the way they're going about it is screwed up. No, instead of saying, okay, our country deserves to provide health insurance to every person in this country, they go and say, okay, let's tax you at 70%, or we need to do this and take that away. You know what I mean?
Hey, I agree 100% with you. I'm sending money out to other countries while they fucking step on our flag and burn it and fucking hate us to death while we're sending them fucking thousands of dollars. Listen, man, a buddy of mine named Tom Metzger used to run fucking White Iron Resistance. He told me, and I shit you not, he told me straight out, bro, this shit, and this was 10, 15 fucking years ago, maybe longer. He told me straight out, he said, Dan, this shit ain't gonna get any better until this shit collapses.
Right. And you know what? It's funny with this kid. They were Catholic kids. They weren't there. If you watch the whole video, it was these guys that came up to them because they were wearing these hats. And it's funny.
Oh, yeah,
you got Hollywood in it, and you got CNN, MSNBC going, well, now the red hat is the next Klan hat. Well, they don't sit there and tell you that the Democrats are I don't care if they were Dixiecrats or not. You assholes are the one who started the KKK. You had Robert Byrd out of West Virginia, who was a damn imperial wizard, kissing on Hillary Clinton. Be for real.
Dude, that's one of the oldest fucking groups in the United States of America. The Klan goes way the fuck back, man.
Oh, it goes all the way back to right after the Civil War. And
that's right.
What people don't understand is that was Democratic control. Nobody would dare vote for a Republican down south. Didn't dare.
Yeah, they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it.
Not once will they admit it. But people do not call them to task, and that's the problem right now. And that's why I kind of like loners of how they came out, the Motorcycle Club, what I was just reading, and said, you know what, enough's enough. You're bullshit, and you're taking police propaganda and saying this is the truth when it wasn't.
It's some bullshit, man. Yeah, it's just the way. Why is it not illegal to fabricate news? I mean, they can just spew bullshit and never be taken to task, like not even be brought up on charges for. I mean, they're literally defaming people. It's just the news is wrong, man. I mean, I don't know. Do you get me hot when I think about it?
Text them is the First Amendment, but they use, that they twist and turn it to the way they want it. So they didn't go out there and spew a bunch of bullshit about a motorcycle club or a specific person, but that First Amendment protects them. But when they go out there and spread so much fake news, it's pitiful. They don't need to be held accounted. The only media accountable is, turn off CNN, turn off Fox News, turn off MSNBC, turn them all off.
That's right.
And go to an independent source.
That's right, man. I can't watch it. I don't trust it. Nothing I see on the TV or any of these news broadcasts, I won't listen to it, man. Because you know what? I believe they're lying to me and they're not telling me the whole story. So it's just fucking pathetic, man. But anyways, I want to let you go. I'm fucking at work, dicking around. So.
All right, man. Don't hit me with that flashlight, bro.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's a good conversation with Dan. I'll take one more phone call. Yeah, I kind of get worked up on this stuff because it's plain and simple for people to actually see what's going on, but they don't care enough to do something about it. Now, on the internet, you got people on the right saying, well, there's going to be a civil war. You got people on the left that's saying there's going to be a civil war. There ain't going to be no civil war. You guys can't even get out and vote or call your congressman. You're going to go pick up a rifle and go to during the civil. Come on. Be honest with yourselves. But another thing is us as parents. You got to start being parents again. You got to start teaching your kids. You got to teach them right for wrong. You got to teach them to be able to see bullshit. Okay? You got to teach them how to read between the lines, see what fake news is, see what propaganda is. Stand up in school, and when one of them teachers go out so far left or so far out right and say, you know what? That's BS. And here's why it's BS. This is what history says. Of course, history is written by the victors, but this is the way I know it. Let's debate it. No, what's going to happen is if your kid stands up, especially in a Chicago school or an Illinois school up north, is they're going to raise their hand and they're going to get freaking suspended or called some kind of freaking, what's it called? Hold on, we got another one coming in. You're on air.
All right, man, I've been trying to get a fucking outline of what I want to say to you, but what you were saying earlier, you got to understand, people, that this is the indoctrination of the country. When you look at what they're being taught in the school, even in Illinois, I left Decatur, Illinois, because of the way the schools work. In the schools nowadays, a lot of the readings that you and I remember, Romeo and Juliet, and all the things that we had to read to teach us, literature. Now the things that they're being taught is socialism.
The Monte Cristo and freaking all that. Go ahead.
Right. They've taken all that out of school and replaced these books with one and everybody looks at it because it's a prime example. It's called The Givers. And what it is a fucking outline for socialism. They have to give book reports on it, talk about what that type of government did and how it made it better for the people that lived in that society. And all it is a Marxist outline. And this is national. Every sixth grader in the United States is forced to read this. And every year, I've watched my girlfriend and other girlfriends' children go through the school system, and I ask them what they read in English, what they read in social studies. They don't even teach civics anymore. The typical kid nowadays doesn't even know how the fucking government even runs. let alone the branches of government. When you ask them how many branches of government they are, they look at you like it's a fucking Chinese math problem. Well, there's only 3, and everybody wants to say the 4th branch is us. Well, that's not true. We are not the 4th branch government. We will never be the 4th branch government. And that brings me to the point of everybody's wanting to know, well, what the hell is going on in our country? Well, if you were to be taught civics, I'm 50-some motherfucking years old. I went to school. I fought the Cold War. I was on the Berlin Wall. I watched those kids come across there in those little Hugos. The brown shirts. The brown shirts were the ones that started everything prior to World War II. And they were the ones that were supposed to go around and bust their heads, go after the Jews, go after the Australians, go against everybody that was against the German people. Well, the German people, they thought it was a good thing. The good German people thought it was a good thing until we started rounding these people up. Before World War II cracked off, we were already killing motherfuckers in death camps. Long before the Jews were the last ones to hit the death camp. They were going to Poland. They were going to all the surrounding countries. Now, when you look at the United States, the brown church of the United States, or Antifa. Antifa started in Europe. That's why Europe is gone now. That's why we don't have France. That's why we don't have Spain. Because they started that Marxist crap using the Islamic rule and brought it straight up through. And it's already in Great Britain now. So today's brown shirts are the Antifa. And I myself, I don't claim to be a Proud Boy, but I've stood with the Proud Boys, and I've busted fucking skulls, and I've split wigs. And that's what pisses me off about this biker community. Everybody in the last 5 years freaking out about a color, a patch, a bike, a club, a brotherhood. Motherfuckers, it's going to be taken regardless because they've already set it in motion, guys. And what they're doing, just like they're doing with the Mongols, they're doing with, AOA and everybody that's in these bigger clubs, they're picking and they're going to come after everybody. And for too long, it's going to be just like fucking Australia. We won't be able to fire a goddamn bike without some dickhead busting our ass.
Well, I completely agree. Now, let me back you up a little bit. You said you were at the Berlin Wall. Now, for all the new jacks, I call them millennials, can you describe what the damn because a lot of these leftists don't understand what the Berlin Wall was. And
what that Berlin Wall did is that during World War II, when we walked into Berlin, we supposedly got Hitler, which we know his ass was Argentina. It looked out his fucking days and had a holiday. I'm in Argentina. What we did, that was communism on one side and the United States on another. Because Soviet Union beat us to the punch. They took Stalingrad, blew the fucking place up, and rolled south and was going to take Berlin. If they would have got Berlin, they would have brought all that lead all the way through Southern Europe like they wanted to anyway. So what we did was a stalemate. Once they decided that Hitler was gone and he was out of power, somebody was going to, and that's where Checkpoint Charlie come in, boys. That was the last little point before you rolled into the Soviet Union. And the scary thing for me is that I had to probe several times past the Berlin Wall, and I've seen Gorbachev with my own motherfucking eyes. And I had to call it in. I said, he's here, people. Like he's not supposed to be there. I said, I got pictures. And I snapped some shots, sent it on the hire, and they said, oh, shit. Yeah, this is before Reagan even came over there and was talking about, bring it down, let's bring it down. Mm-hmm. That wall ran for hundreds of fucking miles that people didn't even know. There's still parts of it that still exist. And I'd say about 50 to 100 meters past whatever barricade there were minefields. There were concertinas. There were guards. There were sentinels everywhere. It was really creepy for us to go in there in sterile uniforms, probe it, get the information, and come back. And then years later, I'm standing there, and the next thing I know, they're chopping holes in this big-ass wall, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, the war's over. It's done. I said, no. And that's what happened. All of the Russians flooded straight into Germany. And for the next 5-6 years, we had so much counter-espionage shit going on, they told us we couldn't go places unless we were in groups of 3 or more, because there was GIs getting attacked all the time. Because why? The communists were still fighting us. It was a Cold War per se.
Now, you know what's even worse now is that we're facing this on our own soil. I never thought.
Right fucking now, dude.
That I was
right fucking now. And if people are more worried about the Mexican border, well, we should be worried about where you're at right now. Because that's so close. That's so close. And this time of the year, that lake freezes over, they drive right across that motherfucker, and nobody even knows. Right. Just like they did in Prohibition when they bring all the alcohol during the winter, they just drug it down in trucks and drop off the alcohol and split it out of Chicago and go right back over.
Exactly. But it just disheartens you where parents have lost the gumption to raise their kids properly.
Because you know damn good well when stand on there, you bust your kid back, you have to be in the yard.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You go to the mark for 18 months for violation and child abuse. You can't even bust a kid's ass in that state. That's why I left the Decatur. I couldn't stand it. I lived all over Illinois. I'm from the Florida capital. I know. I took an ass beating. I grew up in the juvenile system. And I told myself as soon as I could, I'm getting the hell out of here and I ain't never coming back.
Rock and roll, man. I'm telling you, it's getting to that point, and they wonder why everybody's fleeing the state.
But the thing is, I wish I could get more people, especially us guys that ride, and we, because we got that mindset. I wish I could get more people involved in. It's not necessarily a fucking movement. It's the awakening of the country. I got people that are felons, motherfuckers that have been in jail for 10, 15 years come to say, I ain't got no rights anyway. Let's go fucking bust these bastards' heads. What's another 5 years for assault charge? Right. Because why? Antifa is going up and doing these things all over the country. You got cells of Muslims living in Chicago. You got cells of Muslims living in Dearborn, Michigan. And they're all getting anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000 a month to sit back and take care of their 4 wives and 13 damn kids. Well, we can barely put our kids through school.
Right. Rock and roll, man. Well, you know what? I appreciate your commentary and stuff like that. I wish more people would get mad and actually go out and do something for this country. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen.
That's the problem with half these fucking people. They're chicken shits. They want to run in masses. They want to run like packs of dogs instead of being the fucking man that they supposedly claim to be. They need to stand the fuck up, face the enemy, dead in his fucking eyes, stomp him in his fucking head, and let him know, if you're going to take it, you're going to take it from me with blood on your fucking hands, boy.
Rock and roll, man. Well, awesome, man. I appreciate you calling in, Oklahoma, and let's hope that we can move forward and people can see through this shit, but I personally don't see any
2020, boys, 2020. If we don't do something in 2020, you might as well pack your shit.
Rock and roll. All right, bud, I'll let you go, and thanks for calling in. That was a hell of a call, man. You need that kind of gumption to get involved. You really do. When he was talking about the Berlin Wall, yeah, a lot of people don't understand what it was, especially these younger kids. How bad it really was, man. You had half of Europe freaking, the Soviet Union. That's what they want to do here in the United States. And unless we stop them, it's not going to work. But again, the press, propaganda, they got a whole 3-tier plan, man. But anyway, I hope everybody's had a good time in the chat room. Enjoy the show. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be offline. We're having that minus 60 degrees. We're having a little trouble over here with the equipment, with the cold. Like I said, I tried to freaking buy something today with a credit card. Couldn't even get that through. But anyway, I'll be back on Thursday. We'll have a good topic coming up for you. Don't forget, if you wanted to join our Patreon club, you can do that. The link's in our description. $2, $5 a month. That gets you a bunch of goodies and helps support, keep us on the air Monday through Friday, because everything we do is free, and we're going to be keeping it free. But check out the article and the response in full by the Loners MC tomorrow, and let me know your thoughts after the show goes off air. So with that, I'll talk to y'all later. Hey, if you're in the freaking, the chat room, Tombstone, give me a call, man. Talk to you guys later, and you all have a good one.
We're about to witness a size.
Guy was accosted for work.